welcome to WRPB and WRPB Studios. So with me is a young lady, and I'm really kind of jealous because she did what I always thought I would be able to do or wanted to do and couldn't do. And if you notice, there's a book in front of me, which means she wrote a book. And my personal life experiences really should be a book, but I can't do it. And she had and mine was very serious. Hers are very serious. And she was able to put it in a book form for you guys to understand and to help. With me is Wanda Weathersby.
Hello, Wayne.
How are you?
Doing well, thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
And I know you're a little nervous being on the air.
Yes.
But you wrote this book called Say Their Name.
Yes.
Okay. So my question, and everybody's question is, why did you write a book? What induced you to write a book? I mean, I have ADHD, so I can't sit down with a pencil and paper. I just want to be able to do it. What induced you to do it?
The title of the book is Say Their Name, A Mother's Expression of Healing and Love. And when I lost my son in 2016, I would go to a rec center in Rawlins, Wyoming, and I would begin to walk around the rec center, and the words just began to flow, and I had my phone, of course, and then I would put down what was pouring through me. And I also belonged to a women's group in Denver, Colorado.
Okay.
And that was a group of ladies that had also lost a child. And at the end of each meeting, I would read a poem that I had written. And they all would say, "Oh, that was really good. That really encouraged me." And some of the poems kind of had them in tears. And from that moment, I began to put all the poems that I had written together into a book, which another friend encouraged me to not just leave the book in the drawer, but to actually make it a book.
You know, I went through some tough situations. I'm a survivor of sexual abuse as a kid. And I remember the first time I decided to speak in front of a group and how it had tears in people's eyes and how it hit a point which kind of put into me that it was my job to make sure that what happened to me people know about and it would help them, because you're not the only one that's ever lost a child.
Correct.
And you found a way as best as you could to not get past it, but to deal with it, and you wanted to share that.
Yes.
How long did it take you to write the book?
The book is poetry, and
Right.
it took about a little over a year to accumulate the poems and put it all together.
All poems you wrote?
Yes.
All originals?
All originals.
I mean, I used to write poetry, and I don't think I could fill up a whole book. And when I look at some of them, I go, "Oh, it's ridiculous." Okay, so Say Their Name. Like, I just lost my mom.
Okay.
And every day, for her 90th birthday, we bought her a slot machine, because that's what she
Okay.
loved.
Okay.
So every day, I go to the slot machine and I play until I win. For me, that's like saying my mom's name.
Okay.
Keeping her alive. Is that why you came up with that title?
I came up with the title because I wanted my husband, I wanted family, I wanted friends to know that it's really okay to say my son's name. And even after my husband read the book, he could better understand how it was important for me, for him to just say our son's name, Calvin. And that was the reason I wanted to title it that and write it that, because I think by saying someone's name, you keep that memory alive.
You know, we all lose somebody.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just on, go figure, I was on Facebook, as someone was talking about the passing of his mom.
Mm-hmm.
And I wrote, we're all going to lose somebody, but we don't lose the memory.
Correct.
And if we give up the parts that connect us to that memory, we just gave up that person. So for you, do you say Calvin's name every day?
I do, and in saying Calvin's name, I just would like to share, in 2016 I lost my son, and in 2022 we lost our daughter, and her name is Burgundy. So I now say Calvin and Burgundy. So I say their names to keep the memory alive,
Yeah.
and it feels like they're closer to me when I do that.
You know, I get it, because when you give that up, you might as well just say, yeah, they never existed. And we don't really ever want that.
No.
You know, I talk about my mom, I talk about my dad, I go to the cemetery.
Okay.
It's interesting because being Northerners, my mom and dad had plots up north.
Okay.
And when they moved here, my mom said, well, get a plot here. And my dad said, no, no one's ever going to come see me. And they got their stuff here, and I get to go. I would never go. They would be gone, basically be gone. So it's so important to do things like this.
Yes.
Like for you, being around this group of people, do you still connect with the same people from back in 2016 when all this came down?
Yes, I'm still in touch with the ladies that was in the group that's called SIS, Sisters in Solace. I am still in contact with, I want to say it was about 7, 8 ladies that I am still in contact with them as well. And we kind of support and encourage each other. It is good to have a good support system when you
Without a doubt.
lose someone, and it's good to have someone that you can reach out to and share and talk with.
You wrote the book. You wrote the
Yes.
poems.
Yes.
And when did you write this book? When did it come out?
2021.
Do you still read the book or poems from the book?
I do read poems from the book. I am working on another book as well, but yes, I do.
Does it give you some solace to read the poems that you wrote? Were they all written about Calvin at the
They were
time?
all written about Calvin because my daughter had not passed at that
Right.
time.
And how old was he when you passed?
36.
And how old was your daughter? How old was your
Sorry.
daughter?
She was 52.
You know, as we get older,
Yes.
okay, we have to take in that people are going to pass. But it's terrible to lose a child,
Yes.
okay? Especially at the youngest ages. And we're losing people left and right
Yes.
at young ages, and it's really sad. But I'm still a firm believer that we only lost that physical person,
Correct.
right? And for a mom, that physical person came from you. I mean, it came from your husband too, his dad also, but it's a little bit different, okay? As I like to lighten things up, we only had a small part in the whole deal, okay? But the thing is that it's such a connection to a mother, okay? So when I hear negative things about a mom talking about their child or a problem with a mom, it really hurts me to how can you have that connection and yet destroy it, and how precious it is,
Yes.
okay? What was Calvin's hopes and dreams for the future? Do you remember what he wanted to be and what he wanted to do?
Calvin, he loved writing also, and he wrote poetry as well as he was working on writing a book that did not get published, but and he loved music. He really, really loved music.
Did he write a book? Did he get the book
He
finished?
did not finish the book, and he did not write it. He wrote it, but he
But
didn't
never pub-
finish.
Is it finished? Is the book finished but not published?
I would have published it if it was finished. It was not complete.
Wow. What did your daughter want to do? Or what did she do? She was old enough to be doing what?
She worked for the Pentagon. She did a lot of stuff. She was just your all-around bright, brilliant, physical, young person, active, in shape, that you're not expecting to leave. You're not expecting anyone to leave,
Yep.
and especially at a younger age. So, awesome mother and wife to her family.
You know, I bring these things up because no matter what transpired, they're a part of you and a part of your life and a part of your experiences. And I bring them up because I want others to know how important a book like this is. to you
Very important.
and to them, because we're all going to lose somebody. It's just the way it is. And do you find that people who've read the book, I mean, I've heard testimony, because we go to the same networking group,
Yes.
that it eases people's minds and their feelings after they've read some of the books, some of the poems.
I believe that the book offers hope and healing for those who are hurting from the loss of a loved one, and not necessarily a child, but it could be a husband, or it could be a sister or a brother. And I believe the book has some healing to it as the poems are read.
Okay, so you write this book, you self-publish?
This book, yes, the second edition is self-published, correct.
Okay. Is it also the second edition? Is the book that you're writing now also poems?
It is also poems. It's going to be more of something to guide you in what to do during your grief and to help you heal during that time.
You know, again, losing somebody is not a closed chapter. It's
No.
It's just a different chapter in life's experiences and what
Correct.
we go. And we all have a story, okay? And without patting myself on the back and give the credit to you, sometimes we're blessed with people who are willing to talk about it and not put it under a rock, so that we can help others.
Yes.
Okay? And I'm going to guess the initial start of this book was to help you,
Yes.
and
And
it
it did.
flowed over to be able now to help others.
Correct.
We got a tough time. How do people get the book? Where can they find the book?
You can find the book on Amazon. The book is also on my website,
Which is?
which is www.forhim36.com.
Well, now that we spoke, I know where the For Him 36 comes from.
Yes.
Okay. And so you get on your website, and if you run into Wanda, you always have books with you, right? You always have a book with you?
Yes, I do.
Okay. So now, I have not read it, and
Okay.
You actually brought me one, and I
Yes.
will read it. I love poetry,
Okay.
and because it's, takes I mean it, guys, you know me for a long time, because it's not a book where I have to read a lot. I can read a poem, two
Correct.
poems, and move on to the next. And I don't think that it's limited, like you said, to losing a child. I lost a parent,
Okay.
fairly in August, so fairly recently.
Sorry for your loss.
And though it's a little, I don't know, it's a little easier. It's a little different
Okay.
because I had her for 4 years. I was a caregiver, so I had closure. A lot of
Okay.
times when you lose somebody, especially younger, something you don't expect.
Exactly.
Did you write poetry before his passing?
Yes. I used to write poetry as a child, and I also used to write poems about love and being in love. So maybe somewhere down the road I will publish a book of poetry on love.
I think that's so cool. I probably should dig out some of my poems and write a flyer.
You should.
It's just a flyer size. But I have to tell you, when I met Wanda, and it's a while, because we've been to another things together,
Yes.
and dragging you here was a little more difficult because everyone's nervous about coming on the air. But it's so important. As nervous as she was, she knew that it's important to share.
Yes.
Okay? And for me, giving somebody the platform, even though I push them to come on the air sometimes, giving them the platform to share so that you guys can benefit, it becomes a win-win for everybody.
Yes.
With that, Wanda, I want to thank you for coming on.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
I am, without sounding condescending, I'm so proud of how you deal with what you have to deal with, because most would not be able to.
Okay.
And this book will help people get through that. With that, everybody, have a great day. Check out the book.
Thank you.
Say
Their Name, A Mother's Expression of Healing and Love.
on Amazon. Everybody, have a great day. We'll be right back.